Everybody loves Jeremy Meeks. He was arrested in 2002 for robbery and the assault of a 16-year-old boy. He spent 9 years in prison. A couple years after, he was arrested again for felony firearm possession, and that's where we get the famous mugshot photo. During his stay, he would receive up to 300 letters a day from women on the outside. And when he was released, he got a modeling contract. He's now worth $4 million. The halo effect is a concept in psychology that describes how one positive trait, such as attractiveness, makes people perceive you to have many other positive traits. So, for instance, attractive people are seen as having higher intelligence, higher trustworthiness, as being more honest, as being more competent, as having more leadership ability, as being more friendly, more charismatic, being funnier, which is hilarious because generally I would say the people who are actually the funniest are not the most attractive guys, as having more confidence. Be confident, bro. Hey, girls like confidence, man. As having more political knowledge, maybe that explains Gavin Newsom or JFK. As being literally a better person, like morally, they're perceived as a better person, as having more employability, which is also why they tend to make more money. If you guys didn't know that, attractive people make, on average, it depends on the study and it depends on how attractive the person is, but between 4 and 15% more than their less attractive peers. That might not seem like a lot, but take, for instance, somebody making $70,000 a year. The attractive guy would be making 77. Now, let's say they both have $65,000 worth of expenses. That means at the end of the year, the normal guy is going to save 5,000, while the attractive guy is going to save 12,000. That's 2.4 times more savings, which, especially over a long period of time, will compound, and he's going to be way wealthier than this other guy. It's the same thing with Ted Bundy. You know, everybody thought that he was such a great guy, such a friendly guy, so handsome, but he was literally a murderer. You know, it reminds me of that Bible quote, "For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has, will be taken away from him." That's Matthew 13:12. But it's so true. That's with everything. You know, even in investments. If you have a lot of money, you're going to make a ton of money. If you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to make anything. The people at the top always win. It's the same thing. The top 1% of guys and girls attract much more than 1% of the population, whereas the bottom, whatever percentile, get barely anything. But it also makes me laugh, the thing with gold diggers, the guys who have more money also tend to be the more attractive guys. So, I mean, really, they have everything. And a lot of people try to cope. But in reality, they're perceived as better in every way. That's simply how it works. Now, it doesn't mean that it's actually true, though. That's the important thing. I have an example myself. When I was in sophomore year of high school, I had a class with this girl who was very pale. There was also this popular guy in the class. He was actually the president of the grade. A lot of people liked him. Whenever he would make fun of her or joke around, she would always be laughing. Always think it was so funny. Oh, stop, she would say. Right? And we were all friends. It was two other people, too. Now, one day when he wasn't there, I went in his seat to plug my Chromebook in because he sat in the wall. I was sitting behind this girl, and I noticed, I looked over her shoulder and saw that she was Google chatting some of her old teachers from our middle school. And I thought that was funny. And we had joked about that before, how she was always doing that. And it's kind of weird. So I pointed it out and I said something and I joked. And then she looked at me. She turned around and looked at me. And she said, "You guys are jerks." And she stormed out of the classroom. I looked to my friends and they were like staring at me, absolutely baffled. And I was like, what did I do? And they said, "Nah, man, yeah, I don't know. That's not your fault." Even the teacher was like, "What did you do?" And I said, "I don't know." It's even the case for women. You know, a girl who's popular can afford to be weird, can afford to have niche interests. She might even shape other people's interests. But if you're unattractive, you're unpopular, and you like something that's considered weird, like anime or something, let's say, you will be the weird girl. Everything that makes the popular girl interesting and quirky makes you weird and unapproachable. Because nobody wants to address the real thing. The real issue is that you're not attractive. That's the issue. Now, what should we do about that? Well, I say treat everybody equally. I know, we learned that in kindergarten. But it is true because it's more important to do it than to say it, right? So I try to do that. Of course, I don't always succeed, but especially for guys, I try to treat them all the same. Try to give them all respect. It's okay to make fun too, and it's okay to assume some things, but don't automatically assume everything, because people can be good no matter what, right? Or people can be bad no matter what. It's really important to judge the specific person, But again, it is okay to assume some things. But I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to be respected. Everybody wants to be treated at least decent, no matter how they look. So that's about it. See ya.